So I went straight from reading Blood and Bones to reading its sequel, which is called Fire and Earth by A.D. Starrling. So on Artemis's end, his group, which includes pretty much all the characters that it introduced in the previous book, are still kind of trying to hunt down answers about who they are, what role they're supposed to play in the rising conflicts, like the increasing number of demon attacks and stuff that's going on, and trying to figure out the nature and stuff of the objects and stuff that they each have in their possession and like their own possible histories. But at the same time, this book has a much bigger focus on what the bad guys are doing in regards to criminal gangs. So there's this one major company which is serving as one of the bad guys' main front companies, but they've been going around kind of getting different criminal groups under their control. Like this was kind of brought up already as well in the previous book, but since one of the main characters, like a new one introduced in this book, is from the yakuza in Japan, it plays a much more significant role. Like the story begins when that main character's older brother is murdered by what appears to be a representative from a rival group, although it is a kind of an out of the blue thing to do, and he's determined to figure out who killed his brother and why, but he's also possibly getting roped back into being part of the yakuza, like he was originally intending to leave it all behind him and to build a different kind of career, but now he's not so sure whether or not that is something that can happen. But due to the fact that his brother was actually murdered by someone who became a demon, he gets pulled into the main character's orbit. And, things unfold from there. Like, in this book, the main characters primarily end up fighting with demons and stuff in LA, and you get a bit more, like a bigger picture on who the main bad guys are. So, let's see. I think I skipped less of this book than the previous one. Like, I like the new character that they introduced, and I think a lot of the relations between the characters are starting to shape up, so you get some nice banter and like the I kind of like it when the group dynamics and stuff start to become a bit more stable, because I think it creates room for that kind of humor and stuff. But I think overall I was kind of disappointed. Like from the previous book, I originally thought that this was going to be like a nice complicated story, since it has so many like main character groups and stuff, and it originally looked like it was going to have like a strong mystery element with figuring out their ties to whoever their ancestors or parents or whatever might actually have been. But in this book, it seems to me like maybe it's actually all going to just be super straightforward, like with the whole, good and evil, angels and demons. And there's just way too much fighting, like a lot of fighting. I think more than half the book is fighting, and I don't really have a whole lot of patience for fighting. Like, it's not very interesting to me. I kind of wish it had spent a little bit more time on other stuff. Like the mystery element in this one was pretty weak. Like they already know a lot of what was going on in book one is kind of being retold in a different way in book two. So it didn't really add as much like new material to the conflict and stuff as I would have liked. I kind of would have liked it if the story had spent a bit more time exploring some of the other plot lines that it kind of touches on. For instance, with the new main character and his father, like, because his father is, the head of a yakuza branch, and like they didn't really get along because he had very strict ideas about what his relationship with his sons was supposed to be like in order for them to be safe in a world of criminals and stuff. But you can kind of see that relationship changing, but I would have liked to see more of it, like to have them, for instance, actually have a heart-to-heart, or if that doesn't fit the characters in this situation, like more into like retrospectively, like their thoughts on it, and how, some understandings that they may have come to about like each other and the relationship that they shared, as well as his his relationship with his deceased brother and things like that. So a lot of the more aspects that are not fighting related, that relate to like the kinds of people that they are, I would have liked to see more of.